Rejuvenator is now available in select Costco's across the nation. Limited edition kit, $70 value, only $18.99 at select Costco's. Click the link below for a store list and more information. They're gonna go fast.
What's up everybody, I'm Vick Almighty, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the brand new 2025 Reimagined Metallic 5s. And in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to keep these soles icy blue using our Rejuvenator sole shields, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the history of the Metallic 5s. Let's get into the details of this sneaker. When it comes to the materials on these 2025 Metallic 5s, they use a beautiful buttery soft nubuck on these uppers, just like previous retros. For the soles, they went with the beautiful icy blue tint. I love the color on this one. I do need to compare this sole to the 2016 retro. On both of those shoes, they went with an icy blue tint. I just don't know which one's darker than the other. For the midsole, they went with the classic paint job, matte black with the beautiful silver black splatter. Every single retro that we've got in the Metallic 5, they've done it the exact same way. For the laces, they didn't give us black laces, but they did go with the white ones. I do wish they would have given us the white and black, just to give us the option to pick and choose. For the tongue, nothing different about that. 3M with the Jumpman embroidered, feels good. The biggest difference when it comes to the Reimagined 5s, every single panel on the edges has a 3M finish. It has a nice pop to it. It goes nicely with the silver on the midsole, the nice pop on the white laces, and of course the 3M tongue. They also did the exact same thing with the Nike Air on the back. Every single retro before this, it's always been white embroidery. This, I'm not a big fan of. They should have just done white embroidery. This is a little weird. Plus, I've seen several pairs on Instagram where some of them were missing the letter I on the Nike, or it was just wonky. Leading up to the release, all the pictures that I saw made it look like this was embroidered. It wasn't until I got closer to actual release date that I realized this was 3M. In a way, it's a cool switch up that goes with the rest of the shoe, but it should have been embroidered. Overall, this is a clean sneaker. I do like it, but I hope in the future they do give us another retro of these without the 3M factors. Now, the thing that sucks when it comes to the Jordan 5s, 6s, 11s, really anything with the clear sole, as soon as they touch the ground, they start to yellow. It's inevitable when it comes to clear soles. Even dead stock pairs start to turn yellow after a few years. That's due to a few different reasons: sunlight, oxygen, water, dirt, oils. All of those are contributing factors to the soles turning yellow. Now, there are some people that don't mind the yellow look. They like that OG factor, but in this case, I like this icy tint. It goes nicely with the netting on the uppers, so I'm gonna protect it using some Rejuvenator sole shields. This is gonna act as a barrier for everything I mentioned that turns soles yellow. Let's open this up. Comes with 2 sole shields and some alcohol prep pads. Our sole shields come with a special texture to give the sole some extra traction. To apply the sole shields, you're also gonna need a pen, scissors to cut out the sole shield, and a heat gun. Make sure to use a heat gun and not a blow dryer. You need enough heat to get the sole shields to adhere nicely onto the soles. To start this process, I'm gonna grab one of the shoes. The sole has been touched a lot, so there's probably some oils on the sole. I'm gonna give it a good wipe down using some alcohol prep pads. All right, good to go with that. That was easy. If your soles are not brand new, you definitely want to use a stain bristle brush and our solution to get the soles as clean as possible before you apply the sole shields. Next, I'm gonna grab our sole shields. I'm gonna lay the paper side pointing up, grab the shoe, place it right above. This is where the pen comes to play. I'm gonna carefully trace around the sneaker. Make sure to use a pen and not a marker. Sometimes a marker, the sides could get all over the sole, and sometimes that doesn't come off. Perfect. We got both of them fully traced out. It's a lot easier with the Jordan 5 compared to other shoes like the Jordan 11. This should be pretty easy to cut out. One thing I am gonna do is cut right outside the line. I want some of that sole shield to cover up some of the edges on the soles. Sole shields are properly cut out. One thing I do like to do is leave some extra room on the front and on the back just to make sure I get the sole fully covered up. If there's excess, I'll chop it off once the sole shield is applied onto the shoe. One thing you don't want to do is do the cutting after you peel the sole shield and put it onto the shoe. That makes it way harder to apply, and most of the time it doesn't even come out right. So the next step is to apply the sole shields onto the shoes. The soles are already prepped. These are already cut out. All I gotta do is peel it and apply it onto the sneaker. The key is to start from the back and work your way to the front. Don't rush this process at all. All right, first one down. As you can see, the sole is fully covered up by the sole shield all around. Once I'm done, I can already tell there's some excess material up here. I'll cut it all off. As you can see, that's why it's really important to trace out the sole shield beforehand and cut it out before you apply it onto the sneaker. See how easy that was to apply it? Sole shields are on. Let's finish the job by applying some heat. The key to this is applying enough heat all throughout the entire sole, but you want to keep the heat gun moving back and forth, only on the sole area. Any shoe that contains an air unit, you got to be very careful. If you apply too much heat in that area, after about 15 seconds, it will completely pop. Another area you don't want to focus your heat on is the midsole area. That can easily cause separation and you're gonna have a hard time trying to fix that. The key is to not keep the heat gun in one spot, keep it moving back and forth. You want to be about 2 or 3 inches away from the sole. Once you apply enough heat, you want to get the sole shield inside the grooves. It gets really hot, so you might want to use a towel or some sort of tool. Most of the time, I just use my fingers. Listen, I can do it, not them. As most of you guys already know, this is another iconic design of Tinker Hatfield's, the Air Jordan 5, ultimately inspired by a fighter jet from World War II. Now this shoe has released a few times, the original in 1990, the first retro in 2000, then they brought it once again in 2007, except that time they brought it back with a Jumpman in the back, Jordan on the bottom, and a 23 on the side. Then in 2016, they hit us with another retro. That one in my opinion is the best one, simply because of the Nike Air on the back. In 2025, they brought us this reimagined version. I love the shape of this one, however, the 3M is not doing it for me. Out of all the retros, if you ask me, the 1990 is the cleanest looking one, especially the PEs with the 23 on the side. That embroidered 23 is very different from the embroidery on the 2007 retro. The 2000 retro was also my favorite at one point, but at this point, they're all falling apart. Not just the midsole, but the Durabuck uppers are also cracking. The Air Jordan 5 has always been one of my favorite silhouettes since I was a kid, even before I started collecting sneakers. Mainly because I grew up watching Fresh Prince. In the intro and in the show, he would always wear the metallics, the fire reds, or the grapes, 3 of the best colorways. The sole shield's on there really good, but in order to get the sole shield in between grooves, my finger's not gonna do the job. That's why I'm gonna be using these little scissors. The scissors are on the older side, so they're not sharp at all. I'm not worried about the tip puncturing any area on the sole shield. As you can see, on the sole shield, I went up a couple of millimeters onto the sides. Just because when these shoes are worn, a lot of those edges do get covered in dirt. This is gonna help protect it. All done with that process. Like I mentioned, there was a couple areas where the sole shield goes too far above onto the midsole, such as right here. It's nothing too crazy, but it's a bit too much exposed. Tiny bit in this area. Over here on this side, there's a good chunk that can be removed. Other than that, I think these look good. I'm just gonna be using our sharp blade. You can use an X-Acto knife. Just make sure it's sharp enough, but don't do it too deep where it's gonna cut into the rubber. All right guys, soles are fully protected. While we're at it, we might as well protect the uppers as well. The uppers contain a buttery soft suede that we want to protect. That's why I'm gonna go outside and spray some Rejuvenator water and stain repellent. I'm gonna spray a couple of coats, let it dry. After that, these uppers and soles will be fully protected. Alright guys, that's gonna bring us to an end on how to fully protect from top to bottom these Reimagined Metallic 5s. You can find all our products and the rest of our protection collection at rejuvenair.com. Use promo code METALLIC20 to save 20% off your next order, but it's only good for the first 25 orders. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.